In this video, we're going to go over what direct variation is. I'm going to start out with a real-world example right here. So it says for every hour you work, you earn $12. We're going to come up with an equation for this. So if I have like X is the number of hours that I work, then 12 times X would give me the total money, let's call that Y, that I earn. So let's think about that. So for each hour I work, if I multiply 12 by the number of hours that I work where you work, that will give me the total amount of money earned. This is an example of direct variation. Okay, so what does variation mean? Well, to vary means to change. And this direct, well, it means one-to-one relationship. So direct is immediately affects the other thing. So a direct variation means that whatever changes in X happen directly affects whatever changes in Y happen. So if X equals 1, Y just went up to 12. If X equals 2, 2 times 12, Y just went up to 24. So Y varies directly as X does is another way of saying it. And another big thing to note is that as X gets bigger, Y gets bigger. That's the direct change that Y changes as X changes. Or as X gets smaller, Y gets smaller. Those are two big ideas there. As X gets bigger, Y gets bigger. As X gets smaller, Y gets smaller. The general form of direct variation is Y equals some constant K, right? So K is a constant number. Notice it's basically, well, where slope is, you're going to notice that this is a lot like slope. So K is known as, and I'll write it right here, the constant of variation. So the constant of variation, which makes sense. It's a number that does not change, that's why it's constant, of the variation formula. So Y equals some constant times X is direct variation. Y is the total, and X is that independent variable that we're plugging in for. That's it. That's direct variation, something of this format. But remember this, X gets bigger, Y gets bigger. X gets smaller, Y gets smaller. I want to point out one other little comparison here. This is considered direct variation. Any number that goes in for X, immediately we multiply by 6, and that affects Y. Here, even though we're multiplying 6 by X, there's a plus 3 there as well. This makes it technically not direct variation because Y doesn't change only because of X's change in 6. There's also the plus 3 there. So again, direct variation, Y equals K times X. Sweet. Can't wait to see you in later videos on direct variation where we tackle some very cool exercises involving Y equals K times X.